Good morning. This is a slightly different angle for you guys. You don't normally get to see A, me like this, or B, any other room apart from some books in my house. But it's currently nearly 7 a.m. It's a Saturday and I am going to my first ever bookish event today. So you guys are going to come with me for as much as I can take you. I don't think the light in here is very good, so I apologise. I'm going to move you in one sec. There we go, light is a little bit better. So we are off to London for Bloomsbury Publishing's Halloween tea party, which I am a host of, excited, nervous, in pure anticipation about. So the last event I went to, I actually left. I walked out because it was just far too overwhelming. So I am in the process of being diagnosed with autism. Both my children have autism, so it's a diagnosis that it was going to happen someday for me. It was just far too much. So when Bloomsbury invited me, I was like, look, this is what happened to my last event. It wasn't a bookish event. It was for a sports brand. I was like, this is what happened on my last event. I've always found events really hard. And they're like, look, we don't normally do +1s, but we'd really love you there. Would you like to bring a +1? So my wife is coming with me, who's not actually that bookish, that's going to be an interesting thing for her. So I know that it's a spooky Halloween event. I know that there is an afternoon tea, which I can't wait for because I love an afternoon tea. And I know that there's a quiz, there's an author talk. I don't really know what to expect. I don't know anybody else from book creator space community. I'm quite new to it. So I've got to be there by 12:30. And although I only live an hour and a half away, I know what I'm like. It takes me forever to get to places. So I'm going to go get ready, get myself sorted. There's a dress code, which is dark academia or spooky black. So I think I'm going to go with the spooky black because I don't know how to dress dark academia if I tried. And come along for the ride and enjoy this little vlog of a day with Bloomsbury. How cool is that?
So picture this, Gothic old church, books everywhere, cake, book creators, people that are just generally like-minded, all of the Gothic vibes you could possibly want and possibly imagine in one place. Bloomsbury made this just look absolutely incredible. I don't know what was in that blue drink. I think it was like an elderflower with blue glitter. The afternoon tea was exceptional, and just the general vibes were so immaculate. It was such a fun environment to be in for a whole afternoon. Good morning. It's literally the morning after the day before. So yesterday was the Bloomsbury event and oh my God, I had the best time. I had such a good time. For an event that I was so nervous to attend, we literally just had an absolute ball. It was so relaxed. The amount of effort they put into it as well was so impressive. Like, it was in the most beautiful venue, like a really old Gothic kind of church situation. And it was just, it felt so special and that felt so nice. Like, sometimes I've been in the influencer space for a long time, not the bookish influencer space, but the influencer space in general. And events that I've done have felt kind of like pretentious, a little bit like everyone that's attending is in competition. And I just didn't get that vibe yesterday at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am the most socially awkward person you will ever meet. On camera, I think I probably come across quite well, but in real life, like, I said to Kelly, we're going to go off piece for little books. We got home and I was like, am I meant to ask people's name? Like, is that what you do in a social situation? She was like, Grace, generally you should ask someone's name. I just don't do that. I miss all the big social cues. So if you met me there, I'm really sorry. If I looked like I was just sitting looking at you, I'm really sorry. I'm just observing the room, trying to navigate my way around it and trying to understand where I fit and where I sit within that room. It's a tism thing. Can't help it. But honestly, had the best time. Had just such a lovely, lovely time. We came in and there was a table set up where this lovely, amazing creator was painting a book. I'd actually never heard of her before. She's got like some crazy amount of followers over on the old TikTok. I'm going to try and find her actually, because my brain was blown. I'm going to try and find out who she is and then I'll like link her on the screen. But she like paints books and I'd never seen it being done. And oh my God, just absolutely breathtaking. And then we sat down and obviously we had the books with our names on. And I was like, oh my God, that's a magical touch. We had the most beautiful afternoon tea. There was a quiz, which I epically failed. I say I epically failed. Kelly got one question. It was really, really quite hard. And it was just an all-round, like, really, really lovely, lovely time, lovely day. The Bloomsbury team are just such stunning humans. They actually gave me a little bit of advice on my own book, which I'm really grateful for. I was like, I've got like literally 20,000 words left. So yeah, what felt nice was when I have attended these events before, I've literally sat there and just felt like there's so much noise, there's so many people, there's so much going on, and I just don't fit in. And that's a really hard kind of thing to try and navigate, especially when I've had to attend on my own. But yesterday I didn't really feel any of that. And I don't know if it's because I had Kelly with me, I had that level of safety of I've got someone here, because I actually didn't really speak to or meet any of the other creators, which I don't know if that's on me, if that's on them. Like, I'm not sure. Like, there was a creator that I had literally just been watching that morning on YouTube, sitting a little bit far down from me, and I was just like, I swear that's her. But I told you, I'm very socially awkward. But all in all, it was incredible. We had an author talk from Laura Purcell. She signed my book. It was such a nice day. It was such a wonderful day, and it was so nice to attend something and not feel that element of pressure or like, I don't fit right here. It was pretty stunning. But today, me and Kels are actually child-free. If you're a parent, you will understand this. Give me a sec. I'm trying to find a brush. Where is that brush? Clearly I don't... Oh, it's there. We're child-free for a couple of days, which is really, really nice. We're right at the start of half term. So we have been on mine and Kelly's main page, which is like the job page. That is a page that is our actual job to do. We have been invited to go for a roast and review it, because we do this thing called Sunday Roast Raters, which is like my ultimate dream goal. Like, just imagine being paid to go and rate a roast. Banging. But yeah, we are going to rate a roast at a new restaurant, which looks really, really nice actually. I'm quite excited for it. And then I'm going to come home and I just want to finish my book. I've been reading Emily Henry's Book Lovers the last like couple of days. Like, just bit by bit, dipping into it, dipping out of it. I always tell myself every single time I read an Emily Henry, I'm going to dislike it. I always tell myself it's not relatable, it's a romance, you don't like romance. But you know what? Every single time I love it. And I love it, I think, because I enjoy just her style of writing. It's so easygoing. It's so easy to consume. It's just nice. I think the way that she puts banter in her characters, like, I hate that word, but it's the only word that I can use to describe it. She has a playfulness in her writing that I just find really easygoing. She's almost like my perfect palette cleanser, and I really needed a palette cleanser. So I'm going to try and get that finished, and then I don't know what to read next. I don't know what to go for. It's half term, which means I actually get to slow down a little bit this week, which is quite nice. I don't have any massive things going on, bar I've got to be back in London Tuesday with work. But yeah, I'm going to get myself sorted, and then I'm going to go for a roast, come home, read my book. Also, we got some books yesterday. We got a tote bag full of books. So I will come back in a bit and I'll show you what's in there, because even I've not fully checked that one out yet. Also, whilst I'm here, I have to be honest, right? Some of the girls that were there yesterday, I was so intimidated by it. And it's not because they tried to intimidate. I was just intimidated by, like, I was looking around the table. So many I didn't know. I had no idea. And then others, I was like, oh my God, I follow you on TikTok. I followed you for ages. Or like, I've just started to come across their content on YouTube. And when I tell you, I was intimidated. I was just sat there and how have I got into this space? How do I fit in here? Is there actually a space for me? And there is a space for me. There's a space for absolutely everybody. You get my point. I was just so nervous when I saw people that I was like, oh my God, I've actually watched you. And like some of them have got absolutely whopping followings. I mean, I haven't got a bad following at all on TikTok. It's one of the stronger ones. YouTube, you're a tough one to crack. It's now Wednesday. We're quite a few days past the Bloomsbury event, but I've not shown you what's in my goodie bag yet, and I've not actually gone through it very much myself. So let's go through it together. We left with these absolutely weighted down goodie bags. Now in here is the book that has got my name written on it. We have got Sleep Like Death by Callan Bayron. Now to me this looks like it's potentially a YA book. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like read much YA. I'm half tempted to give it a go because I might really enjoy it. I'm not a huge YA reader whatsoever, but that cover does actually look really quite beautiful. So that's book number 1. Now there is one in here that I just know straight up I'm just not going to read it. That is Les Normas. Norma is French. It looks like it is Boy Meets Boy, but it's like a graphic, cartoony. It's not my kind of book, unfortunately. Perhaps one for my 14-year-old, I don't know. I love the representation in this though. You've got she, her, you've got he, she, they. So there's a lot of decent diversity and I love the fact that it's male facing. It is a very, very cool cover, but unfortunately probably just not one for me. We then have The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. Now, Kelly actually has, I think, the signed version of this, unless I have got it somewhere creeping in my bag. But we did end up getting quite a few copies of this book by mistake. I am quite excited to read it though, because Laura, when you meet her, she's such a small, almost quite quaint human. And then she writes these like devastatingly gothic, creepy novels, which is just so up my street. It's so me. It's a stunning cover. So I am really excited for that. I then got this beautiful copy of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. It is just mind-blowingly beautiful. It's lovely. One beast of a book, but I am really excited to read it. It's illustrated throughout, which is really cool. I feel like this is a book that I would like dip through. How many page total is this? Oh God, I get scared of a big one. 846 pages. That is massive. Kelly's version of this actually has Kelly written across here, which is just absolutely wonderful. I'm quite excited about that, even if it's a bit intimidating. This was my personalised book. So this is They Bloom at Night by Trang Tan Tran, which, look at that cover. This is actually my bow from my table. Such a beautiful cover. I think this is actually a proof, but I'm really excited for this. It feels like it's a little bit weird. It's about red algae bloom has taken over a part of Louisiana. I love the fact that it's got my name on the side of it. As soon as we sat down and I saw these, it blew my brain. I was like, oh my God, wow. Right, I have got the second copy of The Silent Companions in here, which is actually signed by Laura herself. And it's addressed to me and Kelly. So I actually have 3 copies of this one book. I might try and perhaps do a giveaway because I'm never going to need 3 copies. We do actually have doubles of all of these books because Kelly got given some too. The last actual book that's in this bag is The Great When by Alan Moore. Well, this is a very cool cover. It's a breathless time-travelling classic, savage, humane, comic and terrifying. A propulsive tour through a fantastical London. Oh, it's a white hardback as well. I don't see them very often and I love that. So There's a selection of very, very good books in here. Bloomsbury were incredibly generous with their giving and could not be more grateful for it. We've also got some merch from the comic style novel, including a pen. So clearly that's going to be quite a big launch for them, which is really cool. And then there's 2 candles that went with the Silent Companions. These actually smell insane. They are cinnamon. Oh, I love it. Love, 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 love. So there is all of the goodies that we were lucky enough to walk away with from Bloomsbury. It was one hell of an event. I'm so honoured that I was invited. I'm so lucky that I have this connection with Bloomsbury. It doesn't go over my head at all. I do slightly regret that I saw quite a few creators there that I followed or I recognised, and I was just too nervous to say hello. But hello, that is the tism in me. I just can't help it. There was actually a YouTuber that was sitting opposite the table from me, and I'd been watching her that very morning, and I just could not bring myself to be that person. It was like, I was watching you whilst I was getting ready today. That just would have been weird. But if someone said that to me, I'd actually be overjoyed and well happy. Overall, it was an incredible event, and I wish that I could just go back and relive it. I really, really enjoyed it. We've got some absolute gems in here that I'm really excited to get my head stuck into. Before I round off this little vlog, I actually want to talk to you about a couple of books. One that I'm currently reading and one that I have just read. So I needed a palette cleanser. I've had a really tough reading month this month. It's just not gone well for me at all. I've really struggled to focus. A lot of my picks have been really actually quite bad picks, which is really unusual for me. I'm normally really good at picking a book that I know I'm going to enjoy, and I haven't come through for myself. So I wanted something that I knew would be quite light-hearted, quite fun, easy digestible, enjoyable. There is one author that every single time I try and tell myself I'm not going to like, I'm not going to enjoy, I'm not going to relate to, and I always, time and time again, prove myself wrong. So I went for Emily Henry's Book Lovers. I fell in love with this book. I loved it so much. So many people said to me over on my book talk, you're not going to like it, or I didn't like that, da, da, da. I devoured this. I devoured Charlie. I devoured Nora. I devoured their story. I found so much relatability. I'm going to save it and do an actual wrap up, but oh my God, this book had me literally kicking my feet and cheering, and then almost near to tears towards the end. I think this might be one of my highly rated books of the year because of how it made me feel. And I don't know if I just needed a book that brung me out of that negative, oh, all of the books I'm reading are just poor, but I loved it. And Emily Henry, I love her style of writing. I love how she interjects banter within her characters. I love how she gives her characters so much background, so much personality. I think she's a great writer. She's fantastic. And I'm yet to open up an Emily Henry book and feel disappointed in what I'm reading, even with Happy Place, which so many people didn't like. I really liked it. That was my first Emily Henry, but both so far have just delivered for me. So Book Lovers, I really enjoyed, and actually I wish every book that I read gave me this kind of buzzy little feeling where I could connect with the characters and feel myself within that story. It's very rare as well for a romance to do that for me, so props to you, Henry, because you knew what you were doing there and you done it well. I then went straight into Sophie Jordan's A Fire in the Sky, which I have a lovely, lovely edition of. It has got beautiful orange edges, and I am, as you can see, really quite far through now. I think I've got between 40 and 60 pages left. I am so bored. I expected so much more from this book. I wanted something that delivered dragons and fantasy and magic, and so far it has just been them traipsing through the woods pretty much, and then this unexpected change that just makes no sense. So unless it just ravels itself together in the last 40 to 60 pages, which I kind of hate it when books do that, when you have to get through this massive chunk for it to all of a sudden make sense. But unless that happens, I feel let down. And this is what I keep experiencing this month. I just feel completely let down by so many books. So I'm very grateful to Emily Henry for this one. But right now, I just want to get this finished. I'm going to finish this today. And then I don't actually know what I have lined up for myself next. I don't know whether to do a bit of a reading vlog with you guys. I don't know whether to push myself out of my comfort zone and try and read some of the bigger books that I've got on my pile that I just keep leaving, or whether to go with something like safe that's a little bit of a thriller maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But so far, October has actually been quite a hard reading month. That is a reality. So I'm going to wrap up this vlog here, and I will see you next week for next week's video, where I think we're actually going to talk about your controversial bookish opinions, which I'm really, really looking forward to, because you guys delivered big time over on my Bookstagram today. You have come through with some powerful little bookish opinions that are very, very controversial, and I love you for it, because I love talking about controversial stuff. So for now, I'm going to try and get through this, decide my next book, and like I said, my next book may even be a reading vlog with you guys. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel, and then you get a notification every single time I post. You won't miss anything. And I love you being here. Bye.